Good morning everyone, thank you very much for tuning into my latest video. I'd just like to thank everyone for their continued support, any new subscribers and the lovely comments that you obviously send in. They're really appreciated and they keep me going, so thank you very much. So today's video is it's good news for a change. As you can see from the title of the video, it's very beneficial to try and take on this information that's in these videos with regards to fighting your own corner on universal credit. Because I know it's difficult, I know confrontation's not nice and it gives not a nice feeling in your stomach, and it isn't a nice experience, there's no two ways about that. However, if you're in hardship and the only way out of that is to confront the system, then that's what you need to do. Because if you don't, they're not going to stop. I've just done the same thing for my mum yesterday morning, and I'm going to go into that in a second. But first and foremost, I would like to thank James for contacting me with this information, and he sent it across. I obviously can't go into details of what it is he's received, but just know that James had issues with his housing, and thanks to my videos, he challenged the system and the case managers by demanding the payment disputes, and he's actually it's been sorted out for him now, and he messaged me yesterday to say thank you very much, Alan. I really appreciate that. It was your videos that gave me the confidence to go ahead with this and obviously fight my corner. And he's received a substantial amount of money. I'm not going to say the number because it's obviously private and confidential, but just know it's a lot of money, a lot of money, which if you're not getting that support is going to push you into serious hardship, as so many people know. So what I would suggest you do is, please don't be disheartened by a case manager who may come back and reply and say, well, what is it you're challenging, as I've had myself this week, because this is what they'll have been told to do. They'll have been told to ask what you are challenging. Now, if you haven't got the confidence to sort of go ahead with that, they're probably going to get the better of you. Just briefly, as I mentioned, my mum had these issues on her statement, multiple issues, and I called up yesterday morning to say that to challenge them basically, and I'd gone through it. I'd used the script, I'd used obviously my knowledge of the system and informed the agent why I wanted the payment disputes to go across, what the payment disputes were for, and I also reminded her that she needed to mark it in the history notes, as that's the process. And I confirmed at the end of the call if she had put that information into the history notes, and she said she did. However, last night my mum got a communication, a response back from the case manager at Glasgow Service Centre to ask if why she was challenging the deductions. Now, I got her to reply, obviously, and I asked her, I says, look, confirm with this case manager just to make sure that that's in the history notes. So I've not seen her today, I don't know where she is, so I'll obviously need to speak to her tonight about it to see if she's gotten a response. But I believe this case manager came back to obviously try and say, well, why are you challenging the deductions? Because I'd seen it many times, case managers coming back saying, no, this is correct and this is correct, but it's not correct, as we've established many times. And someone actually made a brilliant point in the comments section a couple of weeks ago when they'd said that, Alan, what have you pondered the fact that these deductions may be to cover these cost of living payments, which is why I know the deductions fluctuate, but the amount never does. And I thought, you know something, that's a really good point, because if they're giving out standard allowances and housing, etc., and then they need to give cost of living payments on top of that they may not want to do, then what they could do is they could put fraudulent deductions on there and changing all sorts of things, which is exactly what's happening. So it is a plausible explanation as to why they're doing it. There'll be many other reasons. The housing side of it, I know why they're doing that, as I've explained before. That's to get the claimants to cover the 13th month in the year, because the councils are actually skint. And I mean, it's like you're skint, right? Okay, and it's the people that now need to pay for that when you're sending 12 billion to Ukraine. And they're talking about wanting to give out 1 billion to people from previous generations that have maybe engaged in slavery. Well, anyway, this case manager got back to my mum and to ask why she was challenging these deductions, and I'd said, well, because we know they're wrong. The housing fluctuates from month to month with one non-dependent to the next week to two non-dependents, and then you check the journal and there's no changes in the journal to reflect that. Now, when you send these payment disputes across, you obviously have to give the information as to why you've sent them, and you have to send multiple ones. So, and if it's in the history notes, they have got no reason to come back and ask the claimant that. Now, I'm willing to give the guy the benefit of the doubt to say that this is not in the history notes, and if it's not, I'll complain about the agent, because he'll not be able to lie, because if he comes back and says, well, yes, it's in the history notes, I'll say, well, why are you asking the claimant this? And if he comes back and says, well, no, it isn't in the history notes, and even though it is, I'm going to say that I want to complain about the agent. So he's snookered either way with that, so they're going to have to, which is why I said they'll probably not hear anything back. But this is why you need to be strong. And I've said it to so many people. It's what I said to James. It's what I said to everyone. Refer them to my videos. Let them know that you know the fraud that's going on, because they can't manipulate it. This is why I've done it. This is why I've put the knowledge of it across, because they cannot manipulate you. Now, James, it actually sent me his journal communications, and you could see that they were misleading him, and there was no doubt about that. And they would have been telling him, this is correct. No, this is, and agents would have been telling him that. This is correct, don't worry about it, this is okay. And yet, he got all that money back, because it was actually wrong. There was another guy contacted me about the restart scheme and the scams and that. I haven't gone over the whole email yet, but I will be going into it, because I think it deserves a video on its own. So, this knowledge that we've got here in these videos, we need to use it. Use it. There's no, and I've said this all. I said this to my brother last week. This is not for entertainment. These videos are not for entertainment purposes. This is real life. We need to learn this stuff. About everything I've said about the world, I don't want you to believe it. I don't need you to believe it. I need you to look into it. But we need to know this stuff, because if we don't, we're going to get caught with our pants down. And if you've got your head buried in the sand, it's a sure way to get yourself kicked up the arse, as so many of us have been. Sorry, I can't get my words out there. So these people they're going to come back to you. They're not. I mean, there will be some that will say, okay, we've received the payment dispute and we'll get back to you. Now, if you look, I posted the first video. The first video was 2 months ago, and then it's 2 months to obviously get these disputes to go through. So I would like to, and there's obviously been another person that got, it wasn't as much, but they got their money back. So I would like to, anyone that's used this or going to use it, please come back to me and let me know just how you've got on with it, if you don't mind. Because James is proof, I can't remember the other woman's name. James is proof that if you stand up for yourself and you say, no, I'm not having this, I know this is wrong, then you'll get it sorted out. And that applies right through life. Just if you know you're in the right, if you know it's the truth, then please stand on your truth and stand on your own 2 feet and do not take it from them, because these individuals, they're obviously deeply disturbed and they're cowards as well. And I hate how they use I'm only doing my job because I've got a mortgage to pay. And I'll say it again, well, you're not only doing your job though, are you? You are complicit in this agenda. This cannot be held up without you. It can't. So as long as you follow this bullshit, you are helping hold it up, which is why we need to dismantle it. And that's what I would like to think that these first videos have done, the beginning of the unscrewing of the nuts. Because we need to get on with this. And by the way, these nuts are not tight; they're hand tight, and it will fall very, very quickly. once people start to come together, and it's brilliant to see how many people email me to say, Alan, you've inspired me, I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that. That podcast I was on Saturday, Sean Paul contacted me after the first video and he said, you've inspired me, I've been thinking about doing this for a while, so would you like to be my first guest? Of course I will, mate, absolutely, no problem at all. And I'll be honest, it's 50-50 whether you hear anything back. But he did get back to me and I've done the episode. That's get up and go. And if he can do it and I can do it, it means everyone can do it. Some people are in bigger holes than others. It doesn't mean you can't get out of them though. And obviously, if you're not getting your correct standard allowance, it's even harder to come out with because you're in hardship. And when you're stuck, it can be very, very, very difficult to get out. And sometimes you can't see a light at the end of the tunnel, which is why I've done these videos, because so many people have told me there's a light at the end of the tunnel. And James coming back to me 2 months after me posting those videos to get all those costs back is proof that this works. And I suggest that you do it yourself. Honestly, it doesn't matter what it is. And I've said it before, if people... I don't want to call the lines that don't like confrontation. Well, I'm very sorry. But if you can't phone the line because you don't like confrontation, they're going to have their way with you. Now, the agent I'd spoken to yesterday, and no offence to her, but I don't think she was quite clicking on all cylinders, which is why I had to obviously relay the information. And I always tell them, look, I've done this job before, so I'm not going to tolerate any shortcuts. So it's very, very important that we know what's going on. And again, knowledge is only power if we put it into practice. So you need to put it into practice because it works. Make it work. And I was told that there was a second complaints light put on as well. Put the complaints through. If you've had an unsatisfactory experience with an agent or a case manager, put the complaint through and ask them for an update on it. Call back up and get an update, because what's the point in putting a complaint through if you don't get an update on it? What is the actual point of that? There is no point. So it's just about, it's having the confidence, and I'm the same. I don't like confrontation. It didn't bother me when I had alcohol in me. Alcohol often causes the confrontation, but since I don't do that anymore, I don't like it either. But you have to do it sometimes. You absolutely have to do it sometimes, because if you don't, people are going to walk over the top of you. You can't be too nice. It's nice to be nice, and it really is, but you need to watch nice people. The nice people were the butter, as if butter wouldn't melt in their mouth. You watch them, because they will stab you in the back. It's good people you need around you. A nice person will tell you what you want to hear. A good person will tell you what you need to hear. And yes, when you tell the truth, and sometimes you need to withhold things, sometimes people aren't ready for it. But you need to tell the truth. You need to be honest. Because if someone's, say they've got a problem, and it's a self-inflicted problem, say it's drugs, and you maybe don't want to say to the person, by the way, you've got a problem, and you're telling, oh, it's fine, you're not that bad. You're not helping them. You're being a nice person, yes, but you're not being a good person because you're not helping them. You need to tell them the truth. And this is pretty much the same. You need to confront the truth. I don't like it either, but it has to be done. It's not a nice thing to go through, but like I say, this is an anecdote to their nonsense. Just refer them to my videos. See if they start saying, no, this is wrong and this is wrong, and just say, well, look, that's your opinion, but I believe you are lying to me. And here's the reason. Because of this guy's YouTube videos. So what are you saying to that? So what are you saying, that he's lying? He's not telling the truth? Is that what you're trying to say? They're going to be stumped. There is nowhere to go with that. Absolutely nowhere to go with it, other than to put the disputes through and give them their bloody money back. And that is the reason for this, because when you've got bloody councils saying that they're skint, they need to raise 300 million, and it's like, well, what do you mean you're skint? Well, where's it gone? And then, but yet, they're still having their ceremonies and stuff like that in London, as I mentioned in a few videos ago. But the potholes in the roads aren't getting bloody fixed though, are they? Something needs to happen with that. We need to start holding direct debits back, we really do, to show, we'll keep the money there, but to show them we're unified. Because if everyone says, no, well, I might not agree with what he's saying, But I do agree that my car's going to get wrecked on these roads, even though I pay my road tax. At least then we could get everyone together and say we're cancelling them just now until you fix the bloody roads. If you could get 3 million people to do that, or even 1 million people to do it, even 100,000, it would be 100,000 people where more people would say, well, I'm going to join that, and it would just snowball. Then they would realise we're together and change would come from that. And the European Super League, I know this is not a sports channel, but just briefly, the European Super League that they tried to bring out a few years ago, when all the fans were up in arms about that, it collapsed. I know they're still trying it with the Champions League and stuff like that, but that particular venture collapsed because the fans came out unified and said, we ain't having this. See, it's easy to do that with sport. I don't know why people don't want to do it with things like this. And I've experienced this over the years, like where they won't, people, like, when you come out with the information, people won't, they question you constantly. But they don't question the news or the government that way. Why is that? Because they're under social programming. They are holding their belief system and they feel it breaking. So they need to question you to make sure that you're lying. They don't do that with the government because they're under the government control. Social programming, as I said in a podcast yesterday, you either program your own mind or someone will do it for you because you're a biological computer. And until you realise that and learn that if you put shite in, you'll get shite back out, we're never going to get anywhere. Like, it's as simple as that. But just to finish up on the video, please, and I've had so many people contacting me to say, oh, I've contacted them about these disputes and they've said it's everything's correct. What can I do about it? That's what they're going to tell you. You need to fight, and please use my name, use it and say, I've seen these videos. You obviously haven't, or if you have, you're lying to me. So if you haven't, I suggest you go and bloody look at them before you continue with this job. Like I told that case manager yesterday, I told him I want to tell them, they're complicit in this agenda, there's no doubt about it. And you can sit there and dress it up however way you want to say that, well, I'm just doing my job. Well, again, you're not just doing your job. And see the next person that says that to me, I'll blow. Like, honestly, I will, because it's like it's an excuse. It's just an excuse. It's a cowardly excuse. Now, I know we still need decent people in there, but it doesn't mean to say if someone sends a payment dispute across and says, look, I know something's wrong here, this needs to be looked at. Do your job and look at it, don't question them. Why question them? Why are you questioning them? You're questioning them because you've probably been told to, because they know what's going on. They know they're trying to, it doesn't have to be this way. It doesn't. It really, really doesn't. But yet, it is this way, and why is that? Because we've took it, we've accepted it for so long, but people condone, and they give their consent to all this foreign aid that gets sent, and it was going there pre-Ukraine. Food banks have got queues at them, and yet we're sending our resources overseas. It's just not on anymore, I'm sorry, it's not on. We need to get up and moving, and we start by challenging these deductions and dispute them. Don't request, demand. I demand these payment disputes be sent across. I'm not going to answer your questions. I know they're wrong. I've watched Alan McClement's videos, and I'll hear back from you in due course. But just put the bloody payment disputes through and do your job. Honestly, you're not being nasty doing that. You're not. I know it's confrontation, as I said, it's not nice. But this is your life. It's your money. Use it. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you. I'm probably going to schedule a live either tonight or tomorrow night. So I'll see you on that. Thank you very much and enjoy your day.